You're listening to Vaquero News, the Valley Student Station. Good morning, Vaqueros. Today is Monday, April 10th, and it is currently 70 degrees outside. We're coming to you live from our Edinburgh studio. I am your host, Timothy Chapman.
And I am Rodolfo Alvarado, and this is Vaquero News. Hidalgo County has begun to use apps in order to improve access to mental health. Here is Timothy Chapman with more.
A new partnership between the Hidalgo County Justice of the Peace and DHR Health was established in order to use a Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA, compliant platform to streamline mental health warrants. According to Vice President of DHR Health Behavioral Hospital, Vanessa Saenz, as of April 3rd, the app currently being used by DHR Health is called Everbridge. Saenz said the emergency health warrants are issued for people showing signs of mental illness and are at substantial risk of serious harm to themselves or others.
A lot of times these individuals who are identified in a mental health crisis, they won't consent for their own treatment or they don't want to. And so in that case, that's where this process kicks in, and it's meant to help connect an individual to mental health resources when they're not necessarily in a state of mind where they would seek out those services by themselves.
She said the app has multiple other options that assist with healthcare.
As a program, we use it for a lot of things. We use it for on-call scheduling. We use it for mass internal messaging for our staff, but we can also use it for something like this.
Justice of the Peace for Precinct 4, Place 2, Judge Andre Maldonado, said he decided to go ahead and start using this app because of the amount of time it saves compared to the previous method of getting mental health warrants signed.
Before Justices of the Peace, we would have to either go in person to the hospital to sign these mental health warrants, or they would have to be sent through fax so it could be HIPAA compliant.
He said time is of the essence when assisting someone who needs medical attention, which is why he believes the app benefits all parties involved.
With this app, it helps out not only the person who's having their mental issues, it helps out the hospital staff, it helps out the police who are there on standby waiting for the warrant to be signed. It gets them evaluated as soon as possible to get treatment for whatever mental health condition the person is exhibiting.
For more information about DHR Health, you can visit their website at dhrhealth.com. This is Timothy Chapman for Vaquero Radio. UTRGV is receiving several grants that are intended for mental health service training. Here's Fernanda Gonzalez with the story.
UTRGV will receive 2 grants from the Department of Education this month, totaling over $11 million for training counselors, social workers, and psychologists at the university. These 2 awards are part of an even more significant one. Last January, the first installment of this award was made. The grant award is a total of a little over $17 million that is divided into 5 years. For this year, the awards designated were $5.6 million and $5.8 million, allowing for more than 120 graduate students to be trained for the support of local school districts. According to the press release from Congressman Gonzalez, this grant is from the Mental Health Service Professionals Demonstration Program. They provide grants to support the training for mental health professionals for their employment in schools and local agencies. Congressman Vicente Gonzalez expressed that mental health is one of the most pressing issues facing our children and communities, and that this funding will help train the next generation of mental health professionals that will help the community. UTRGV Senior Vice President for Research and Dean of the Graduate College, Dr. John Sayin, expressed the importance of being a state university with a significant social impact at UTRGV.
As a state university, under the University of Texas system, we have an obligation to serve our community, our region, state of Texas, and of course then it goes to the national level. And I don't think there's any other UT institution out there that has such a footprint that's distributed over 125 miles in South Texas with our teaching and research facilities. We are everywhere, impact, right? So this project actually is a great example of how a university, a public university, can make a social impact, visible social impact. And then something like this, the mental health piece, which is very, very important to what we do. And it all adds value to the community. It improves the quality of life. And so it makes happy communities, basically.
In the next 5 years, UTRGV will continue to receive these kinds of awards to help the improvement of mental health in our community. For information about counseling services that UTRGV provides, you can call and make an appointment at 956-665-2574 in Edinburgh and 956-882-3897 in Brownsville. This is Fernanda Gonzalez for Vaquero Radio.
Have you ever wondered about the safety measures here on campus? What can you do when facing a crisis here at UTRGV? Here's Edgar Garcia with more.
Firearms have recently become a major cause of child death in the U.S. This comes along with the recent shooting in Tennessee, along with many others in the recent past. All of this put a spotlight on UTRGV's CRACE system and a look into the response system in case of shooting. UTRGV's Civilian Response to Active Shooter events training has become increasingly more important due to the more frequent school shootings. Patrol Sergeant with UTRGV PD, Roel Reyes, explained the program created by ALERT, the Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training, and how it could help save lives.
The course that they have created that we teach to our community is known as CRAZE, which is the Civilian Response to Active Shooter Events. What CRAZE created, they created a pretty basic strategy, making it easy for the civilians, because this course is mainly targeted for civilians in the case of an active shooter event, and they came up with a basic strategy known as ADD, which stands for Avoid, Deny, and Defend.
The methodology of ADD is simple, avoiding all contact with the shooter. This means a person must find their way out of the current surroundings by identifying exit doors and putting as much barriers and distance between them and the shooter as possible. If avoid doesn't work, deny is the second step. People must try and hide and remain out of sight while putting as many barriers between them and the shooter as possible. This includes locking your door, creating barriers with desks, couches, and chairs, turning off lights, and avoiding any window that could alert the shooters to your position. The person should receive a text letting them know that they are safe afterwards from UTRGV police via the alerts. Defend is the last resort. At this final stage, the person is encouraged to defend themselves from the shooter as best as possible, with the main objective being surviving under any circumstances. The course is offered to faculty, students, and the community at large. Program Manager of the Office of Engaged Scholarship and Learning at UTRGV, Estelle de la Garza, completed the CRACE training and spoke about the experience and what the experience taught her.
Pretty much they gave us different scenarios of what could happen, what has happened, and really walking us through like always being knowledgeable about where your exit points are and different ways and things that you can utilize as protection. And so that's something that I think not all of us think about, but now after the training, like I'm considerate of that when I go to restaurants or anywhere. I need to know where my exits are.
Despite the training being available, many students may not know it exists. Sophomore at UTRGV for Political Science, Leia Cavazos Garcia, spoke about this, and that while she trusts campus police in case of a threat, she wishes that CRACE and other programs were more readily available.
I think that should be a little more broadcasted, like maybe have like the ability, Fridays or Saturdays have like sessions for students to just kind of know what to do. It's safe to assume that everyone would know what to do, but not everyone does.
CRACE training is available to the public. For more information, please visit their website. I am Edgar Garcia for Vaquero Radio.
And McLean goes up and throws down a monster dunk. That fires up the UTRGV field house.
And now time for Vaquero Sports.
Love. UTRGV is a second home to many students, and according to the UTRGV website, international students have allowed the UTRGV to be another home to over 780 students. The women's tennis team has more than half of their players as international student athletes. Head tennis coach Wes Knotts plays a significant role in recruiting students from all over the world. Knotts is able to recruit international students through many online calls and videos that are posted online. He talks about how he is able to meet certain players he is looking to recruit.
Now with technology, you can get to know people pretty well after watching their tape. You can watch their matches, and then you can just do a bunch of Zoom calls with them.
Knotts isn't just a head coach for these ladies. He is a mentor for them as well, and has built a certain bond over the 4 years he has coached at UTRGV. He explained how he is able to be there for the team on the bad days.
Let's say you're struggling in school, you're far away from home. We go through the thought experiment, like you get injured or you're losing or you're not winning in practice or you're not hitting the ball that well. Like, how are you going to handle those bad days? And I think that's what I convey through the call is like, I really got your back on the bad days. And I think that's really what I've hung my hat on.
Moving from a place you grew up to a totally new country has different obstacles to overcome. Senior Kristina Mamakova has been a part of the program for 3 years, going into her 4th year. She is an international student from Prague, Czech Republic, and grew up loving the game of tennis. Mamakova discusses her experience moving to the U.S.
And of course, my parents drove me to the airport, and I was shaking because I was alone, flying to completely other continent. So, and also I know here in US it's complicated with the visa and they can have some questions and everything. I was terrified of that.
With the Rio Grande Valley being Mamakova's second home, she has grown as an individual. She talks about her 4 years she has lived here and how it has benefited her.
Honestly, my freshman year was so hard. Like, I was really struggling, but I pulled through. I made it. And from that point, I just started to kind of enjoy the independence, and it felt different. It felt nice. I think the independence in me just grew so much.
The women's tennis team is performing well this season with a 5-game winning streak. They will compete Friday, April 14th at the Orville I. Cox Tennis Center in Edinburgh, Texas. For more information, visit goutrgv.com. This is Kevin Alamon for Vaquero Radio. All day Monday and Tuesday in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, the women's golf team will compete at the ORU Spring Invite. At 6 p.m. on Tuesday, the baseball team will head to Corpus Christi and take on the Texas A&M Islanders. At 9:30 a.m. Friday, the men's tennis team will play at Seattle, Washington against Seattle University. Also at 11 a.m. on Friday in Edinburgh, the women's tennis team will take the courts against Stephen F. Austin. And that was the sports schedule of the week.
And now for this week's events calendar.
I'm Edgar Garcia, and these are the events this week. There will be a Tyler Corso Magic Show at the Beast Stunts Playing Capital El Gran Salon at April 11th from 3 to 4 in Bronzeville, and April 12th at the UHRGV Ballroom in Edinburgh, respectively. There will be a Mortal Kombat tournament Wednesday and Thursday in the Bronzeville and Edinburgh game rooms at 2 p.m. on Wednesday and Thursday, respectively. Also, UHRGV's dance and cheer teams will hold tryouts on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the UREX Center in Edinburgh. I'm Edgar Garcia, and these are the events this week.
Now for this week's campus weather report.
Today in the Valley, you can expect temperatures ranging from 62 to 72 degrees, with cloudy skies. Tuesday and Wednesday, you can expect partly cloudy skies with temperatures ranging from 59 to 81 degrees. Thursday, you can expect high of 82 and low of 66, with partly cloudy skies leading to Friday with a high of 88 and low of 72.
And that was the newscast for the week.
Weekly editorial columns will be coming out every Monday, where you can read about our staff's opinions on anything and everything. You can read all about them at news stories on our website, utrgvradio.com.
Make sure to download the Radio FX app and listen to your favorite DJ shows by favoriting Vaquero Radio. Check out our YouTube channel so you can watch our newscast and have the latest news from UTRGV and the Valley.
Don't forget to watch KVQ TV on social media or on VCast monitors around campus. You can also read about the Rider newspaper by picking up a copy from the newsstands located around campus or on their website.
From now on, our weekly newscast will also be broadcasted every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Join us next week, same time, same place.
Only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley Student Station. Have a great week.
This has been Vaquero News.